So, with Father's Day coming up, I really wanted to find something special to send to my own father. And I always look on Creative Fabrica. Here, we're at Creative Fabrica. I love I love this site for cards, especially. And I do follow this company. It's hard to see here. They're called Dreaming Tree. They have absolutely great designs. So my father loves to go to the casinos. He loves the cruises. And I thought this would be perfect for him for Father's Day. And I like this one because it also provides these pre-made cards for the inside that is also for birthdays. It literally, the description tells you every single thing that you need. And I love that. And they even have an assembly video, which was very helpful because when I cut these out and laid everything out, it was incredibly overwhelming, the amount of pieces that I had. So I needed to follow this video as well. But once I put it all together, it seemed very logical. I clicked here to download it, extracted all the files, and there were either separate files, very individual files, or one big SVG that had all the files. So that's the one that I opened. So when I opened up the file in Cricut Design Space, and they were all on top of each other. So I just separated them all out just so I could see what I'm doing. And I kind of chunked all the reds together, all the blacks together, things like that. And then I just went color by color and started cutting. However, I didn't have every single color for every single element of this design. And I had some very high-end papers. I had some very run-of-the-mill kind of cardstock. And I also utilized HTV because I had acquired an absolute ton of glitter HTV from a friend that got rid of her Cricut. Now I have all of my elements cut out, which was really the hardest part, just because it was so many different colors of exchanging mats. But now this part should go easy. I used a mix of papers. I used a mix of vinyls. The project itself is technically all paper, but I don't have every single color. I have mixes of all different things. So I'll explain to you all the papers and how I'm doing this as we go. The first step is the red, which is the backing, like the main part of the card. Okay, fine. So they also provide all of these little insert cards with sayings for birthday, for Father's Day. I'm just going to use a plain white and write my own afterwards. So people have different ways of attaching things. I'm not a huge fan of straight up glue. I love this thing. I love this thing. It's easy. It's zip, zop, zoop. Probably not as cost efficient as glue, but this is what I use. Boom, no drying time. So now that we have this piece, we're actually going to build the front part of the cover and then put it on here. So I'm just going to put this to the side for now. So for this part, you're going to find this piece and this guy's going on it. Again, I'm just going to use my glue. Okay, I'm going to just stick him here for now. and start layering all of these. So this is probably where it's going to get a little tricky. So for these kinds of things, I kind of just, this was where glue or like actual glue or glue dots may come in handy, but I am going to work this out because I don't like getting my fingers all sticky with glue. Okay, element 1. Now over to this one. And same thing. So with items like this, just doesn't make a huge difference if you accidentally turn it this way or this way, but it does go this way. Ooh. Okay. So now here is where I did a cheat. All these tiny little pieces go in here, and this is HTV. So I'm just going to stick them on there and watch this. It's going to work. And of course, you can do this with paper. But I don't have red glitter paper, but I did have red HTV. Red glitter HTV. Because these projects that you get, that you download from these sites like Creative Fabrica, it's really just a suggestion. You don't have to do those colors. It's all about being creative and being inspired by the materials that you have. So I have this little mini press and some parchment paper, and I have it right now set to medium. And I'm only going to do about 5 seconds and then give it a test because it's paper. So you don't, it's not melding into fabric. So hopefully this will be a quick press. Okay, so I messed up. I tried to get these off and then I hit pause when I realized it was starting to pull, and I said maybe I just need 2 hands for it, but nope. So we're going to fix this in the future because I told myself 15 times, make sure you stick it to your pants a few times so it's not so sticky, but I forgot. So I made another one quick. And we're going to just put it right on top. But you live, you learn, right? See, nobody ever knows. Fixed it. Great. Okay, so one fell swoop. And this piece goes that way. Let's try and make it straight. There. For the next part, we're going to build the slots. So if you've stayed this long to watch, you get the general gist of it. Set the pieces up, layer them on top of each other, glue them to the main part of the card. So while you watch this, I'm going to tell you a little tiny story time, which I don't normally do. This is not completely on brand for me, but I'm going to tell you. So first of all, I had been acquiring different types of papers for years. I'm not a huge papercraft sort of person. So the glitter papers that you're looking at right now are actually cheapy Dollar Tree glitter cardstock. And I love it. It only comes with 4 sheets, but they're big 12 by 12. And for $1.25, they're great. I don't use a ton of glitter, but they're really great for that. The red that you see here is very cheap white pulp Michaels cardstock that I usually get on sale. And then I had acquired over a year ago at a garage sale 12 by 24 Cricut cardstock, and one side is smooth and the other side is like a linen texture. And I got 2 big packs of them, one that was all black and white and one that was all different colors. Right here is the white. Best purchase I've ever made, and if I ever run out of it, I actually think I will splurge for it again. Fantastic paper. Okay, all of that being said, I have been a paper hoarder for years and not doing a ton of paper crafts. However, a few months ago, almost 4 months ago, I had a little accident that required a surgery in my shoulder. So I've been recovering for months now, and creating greeting cards has been sort of a therapy because it wasn't a ton of moving, like with my heat press and flopping shirts around and cutting vinyl. I was able to do everything in a very small, constricted area without too much movement. So I've kind of fallen in love with paper crafting. So I've now been able to utilize all of my paper. So this particular card is maybe the most complex card that I've done so far. And it really wasn't that difficult. And one of the reasons that I didn't always do paper crafting is because I found that I thought that my lower end paper just wouldn't cut right. I would always get little pieces all over the place and it just wouldn't always cut through properly. On this project, I wound up using a deep cut blade, but on less pressure, and I didn't have one tear or shred or anything. This is my new favorite thing. So all of that being said, we can get back to the video. So right here, you're seeing my ingenious idea of trying to peel the glitter HTV off of the backing sheet in fear of it ripping because I had no more gold glitter. So I was trying for just like maybe 2 seconds, and now here I'm trying it about 5 seconds. But I knew it was going to work because the backing sheet wouldn't pull anything up. So here you can see that it worked. And then I'm just going to go ahead and do it again, peel them all off the backing sheet. put them on and iron it. Okay, now back to the fun part. Again, this is HTV. And I specifically did this part with HTV because I wasn't going to futz around with trying to get that jackpot text to be perfectly rounded. And I said, this is probably the easiest way to do it. So you could see at the beginning of this particular clip, I was touching the back of it. I had it sitting on my jeans. I was touching it to everything to get the stickiness off of it. And it definitely worked. Also, this is glitter, which also has a little bit less stick in general, but you really have to get that stick off of the backing sheet. But, you know, I learned at the beginning. I tried it a couple different ways, like the red dots I pulled off, and these seem to work no problem. Okay, so the next section is building these red pieces together for the back part of the design where the handle is. And it's also going to create the space for the pullout. So it's really just building this up. So you're going to wind up with 4 of these pieces. These 2 are the same, and these 2 are the same. And it's just to build it up. Okay, now that the spacer is done, this is the material that goes in between that we created the space for. So this is the slider part that goes up and down. And there's 2 pieces just to fill in that gap. But I can tell you from my mistake, that back piece is Cricut cardstock. That front piece is like pen and gear, printed it with my printer cardstock. So it's much thinner. In the future, if I do that again, I will put 2 pieces of pen and gear cardstock because it is a little slippy. It doesn't fill the whole thing. But I also was definitely doing a print and cut because there's no way that I was going to futz around with all those little pieces of paper. So now this is the fun part. It's all going together right now. So I'm doing the front of the card. I just have it laid flat open and I'm placing that spacer in there. And now the slider goes in and see there's like a little notch at the bottom where the money image is. And then your casino thing goes right on top. So just make sure you're not hitting the slider with any glue and you should be good. And it fits right on top. And through this process with this glue, I've learned if I just place it very, very gently, I could still maneuver it around. So there you go. But you could see it's very loose. It probably needed 1 more piece of paper behind it. So now the card is done, but we need a way to present it. So it does supply a file for the envelope. You can use a pre-made envelope, but I happen to have this large 12 by 24 paper, and I said I will make a beautiful envelope because it has this linen kind of feel to the outside of it. So the file that they send you does have score lines attached, and I can't use score lines. So I'm just doing it manually right here. Easy cheesy, no big deal. I just go in with my glue pen, boom, 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 zip, zop, zoop, no big deal. And this is definitely just icing on the cake. It's this cute little embellishment to put on the back of the envelope. And it's the same thing as all the others. It's just layer on top of layer on top of layer. So here I accidentally cut out this little piece of gold HTV. So I thought I'd just stick it right on here since it fits. Bing, bam, boom, done. And again, I have noticed throughout this entire process what unbelievably clean lines my Cricut cut using the deep point blade on less pressure. And I think I used 65-pound cardstock. And just stick it to the back and you have a whole set ready to go. My father is going to love, love, love this. So if you make this, please let me know. It's really much easier than it looks.